Hello, everyone. I would like to continue our discussion on quantitative genetics. So just a quick recall, we have already discussed the basic principles in quantitative genetics. What is quantitative genetics? Ano yung focus ng quantitative genetics? Ano yung mga examples ng traits that we study in quantitative genetics? And ano yung mga parameters or statistical measures of population variations that we compute in order for us to decide properly on which to select as breeder animals. Ngayon naman, we focus on the partitioning of variants. So ito yung topic natin, isa sa importanteng topic sa quantitative genetics kasi kailangan natin yung differences. We have to have value. We have to quantify the differences or variation that we observe among the individuals in a particular herd or population or flock. So it says here, in animal breeding and quantitative genetics, when we observe differences among animals in a population, such as differences in milk yield, differences in litter size, differences in egg weight, egg production, ADG, FCR, ang tawag natin doon sa differences na yon ay phenotypic variation or phenotypic differences. Pero sabi dito, it does not come from just one source. Tikait na nga sa deto ikot, yung nakikita natin na differences among the individuals or among the animals in the population ay hindi lang iisa ang dahilan. Ang dahilan ay it's because of the G and E. Recall natin, P is equal to G plus E. P, that's now your phenotypic variation. G, that's now your genetic variation. And E is already your environmental variation. So ibig sabihin, the differences among animals in the population is attributable to genetic variation and environmental variation. So dahil merong components ang phenotypic variation, we can partition or divide. Pwede daw nating ma-separate yung values na yon para alam natin kung ano yung tool na gagamitin natin in order to improve yung trait na yon. Yung milk yield, yung litter size, ADG, having interval, etc. So ito siya, variance of P, that's your phenotypic variation. Variance of G, that's your genetic variation or genotypic variation or genotypic variance, pare-pareho lang yung mga yon. And then VE, that's your environmental variance or differences due to management practices. Okay, mayroon akong picture dito so that you can further visualize, no? So suppose we have here a population or herd of pigs and a herd of cattle. We see na merong differences, tama? Itong mga biik na to, although they come from the same sow, they differ in terms of birth weight, they differ in terms of behavior, they differ in terms of behavior, ear orientation, etc. So ang tawag natin doon sa differences na yun ay yung phenotypic variation. Ito din, they differ in terms of coat color, they differ in terms of weight. Maaring may mga mas mabibigat, may mas magaan. They could also differ in terms of milk yield, of average daily gain, of weaning weight, etc. So we call that once again phenotypic variation. And yung differences na na-observe natin sa kanila ay may dalawang factors na nagkukos, is the G and the E. The difference in the genotype or genetics and the difference in the environment or management practices. So maaaring mabigat itong hayop na to dahil maaring maganda yung kanyang genetics or pwedeng maganda lang yung environment or yung pagpapakain or yung housing niya, hindi siya masyadong na-stress, hindi siya madaling kapitan ng sakit, adaptable siya to whatever extreme conditions, etc. So why do we need to partition variance? In order for us to find out or determine how much of the variation in animal trait is caused by genetics and how much by the environment. Kasi kung alam natin kung ano yung hatak ng genetics or ano yung contribution ng genetics doon sa expression ng performance ng trait na yon. And kung alam natin ang contribution ng environment, alam natin kung anong tool. Ano yung tool? Just like your selection, non-random mating ka ba? Will you be crossbreeding, etc. So that we know the tools that we need to apply. Okay. Ngayon, kung mataas yung contribution ng genetics doon sa expression ng performance or ng trait na yon, ibig sabihin, mas madali siyang ma-improve. Mas mabilis siyang ma-improve through selection. And yun ang gusto natin sa animal breeding. We want to achieve genetic improvement faster para hindi sayang yung resources at saka yung money at saka yung effort, energy, etc. Ngayon naman, kung mababa ang genetics, ang contribution ng genetics at saka mataas ang effect ng environment in the performance or in the expression of the performance for that trait, ibig sabihin, sa environment ka mag-adjust. Ibig sabihin, sa environment babawi. You will not apply selection but rather you improve the management practices, you improve the housing, you improve the feeding. So production side na yon. Next, so partitioning is important because breeders can only pass on the genetic part. So kung alam natin ang contribution ng genetics, like ilang percent nung differences or nung phenotypic variation na na-observe natin ang dahil sa genetics, then we know what values to play with. Tama? So breeders can only pass on the genetic part. Yun lang yung part. It's only the G that is heritable or passed on from the parent generation to the offspring generation. So knowing the size of each component allows us to estimate heritability. So yung heritability, ang formula kasi niyan ay variance of G divided by variance of P. So when we separate the components or when we partition the components of variance, makompute natin ang heritability. Now, you might be asking, bakit kailangan i-estimate ang heritability? Kasi the higher, when we know the heritability of the trait, we know which tool. Yung sinabi ko earlier, we know which tool to apply. Ngayon, kung mataas ang heritability value ng trait, mas mabilis siyang ma-improve. Kung mababa ang heritability ng trait, mas mabagal lang ang improvement. So, imbes na you select the best animals, you cross different breeds or you improve management practices. Next, knowing the size of each component allows us to predict how effectively selection. So dito na papasok yung sinabi ko kanina na kung mababa ang heritability ng trait, hindi effective na tool ang selection to improve yung population. Okay? Next, decide whether to focus efforts on genetic selection or management improvements. Na-mention ko na rin ito kanina. And speaking of components or partitioning of variance, ang partition or ang components ng phenotypic variance ay dalawa. We have the genetic variance at saka environmental variance. That's your P equals G plus E. So yung genetic variance, that's the portion of the total phenotypic variance due to genetics or genetic differences among individuals. Ibig sabihin, when we cite an example, the differences in milk yield or in litter size due to inherited genes affecting other development tsaka metabolism. Next naman, environmental variance, that's the proportion of total variance or phenotypic variance caused by non-genetic factors. Meaning to say, the differences that you observe in the population ay dahil sa management practices. Next, what happens kapag mataas masyado ang value ng environmental variance? Ibig sabihin, it can mask the true genetic potential of animals. Ibig sabihin, ano ibig sabihin nun? Halimbawa, based sa karakteristik ng hayop na yon, mataas yung kanyang milk yield or egg weight. Pero dahil maraming tawag dito, pero dahil pangit yung management practices, hindi na-express ng hayop yung mataas na milk yield or yung mataas na litter size or yung mataas na egg production. Yun ang ibig sabihin ng large environmental variance. So, hindi mo nakikita ng maayos yung effect ng good genes or nung dapat na sinasabi ng genes niya. And kung mataas ang environmental variance, mas mahihirapan tayo makapili ng better animals. Kasi imbes na pipiliin mo sana yung hayop na yon dahil sinasabi ng karakteristik niya, ng breed standards niya na mataas ang milk yield, hindi mo siya pinili kasi hindi niya na-express yung mataas na milk yield. So we need to reduce environmental variance so that we can select more accurately. So ano yung causes? The reason why mataas ang environmental variance ay because of these environmental factors. Okay, so ano yung mga yon? Management factors. Like for example, pangit na feeding management, pangit na housing, overcrowded, causing stress to the animals, mataas ang temperature, and so on and so forth. So we need to address this para mapababa or ma-reduce ang environmental variance. Oh, so human analogy naman, sabi dito, even the most gifted students struggle to perform in poor environments. Ibig sabihin nun, maaring yung estudyante o yung mga estudyante na yon ay nasa kanila yung genes. Naka-encode na sa genes nila na they have the gene for intelligence. Kaya lang, poor yung kanilang environment. Ibig sabihin ng poor environment could be poor nutrition, or nag-i-skip sila ng meals. So, walang enough na nutrients na tutulong sana para ma-express yung gene nila for intelligence. Another, nai-stress yung mga students. So, hindi nila na-express yung intelligence. Too much workload, masyadong maraming requirement, no time management, lack of motivation, unclear instruction, hindi nagbibigay ng handout, yung faculty, peer pressure, irregular schedule, or sleep deprivation, and so on and so forth. So, ito yung mga environmental factors. It's just ano tawag dito? Marami pang iba na pwedeng environmental factors na pwedeng mag-mask sa true genetic potential ng students. And ganun din siya sa hayop. Next. So anong bottom line dito? Hindi dahil nasa iyo ang gene ay i-express mo na yung expected na genetic potential or yung expected na performance mo. Still, nakadepende pa rin sa dalawang factors. It's the gene and the environment. So speaking of variance, di ba na-partition natin kanina? Variance of P equals the variance of G plus the variance of E. And ito yung heritable, it's the G na component, tama. Pero yung G, ang genetic component, ay may tatlong components pa, subcomponents. So it's the additive plus the dominance plus the epistatic variance. Yan. So ang additive genetic variance, it's part of genetic variance due to the sum of the average effects of individual alleles. So remember your additive gene action. So sa additive gene action, ano ang effect? Pag maraming alleles ang nagko-contribute sa expression ng trait na yon, ina-add lang natin yung kanilang effect to express the phenotype or the performance. And kanina sa previous slide, sabi natin, G is the heritable component. But dahil sinasubdivide natin ang G into 3 components, yung additive lang ang kanyang heritable portion. So this is the heritable portion that determines resemblance between parents and offspring. So dahil ang additive genetic variance, siya yung heritable portion, we want, as animal breeders, we want to have high additive genetic variance. Kasi mas favorable siya sa atin kasi pipiliin lang natin yung better hayop as breeder animals. And this is the most important part and ginagamit natin siya to estimate heritability at saka breeding value. So ang breeding value, siya yung additive genetic value. Additive genetic value or breeding value, in layman's term, yan yung value ng hayop as a parent. Meaning to say, ano yung maiko-contribute ng parent na yan para ma-improve yung next generation. So pwede mong, halimbawa, i-apply sa tao. Ano ang maiko-contribute mo na individual, maiko-contribute mo na parent para ma-improve yung susunod na generation mo. Susunod na De La Cruz, susunod na Reyes, susunod na Santos, susunod na whatever, kung ano man apelyido na meron ka. That's your breeding value. It represents the predictable, heritable part of genetic value. Yan, determines how much the animal can contribute genetically to its offspring performance. Ngayon, kung halimbawa sasagutin natin yung tanong ko kanina na ano yung may contribute mo sa next generation, dapat mataas. Mataas yung contribution mo to the next generation so that yung susunod na generation ay mataas, maganda yung performance. Should be better than you. Next, another component ng genetic variance ay yung dominance variance. Hindi ito heritable. It's not heritable kasi from the term dominance, interaction siya between alleles at the same locus. So, na-express lang or na-observe lang natin, nare-record lang natin ang dominance variance when the genotype of the animal is heterozygote. Kasi it's in the heterozygote that the dominant allele interacts with the recessive allele, interacts in the form of masking. Okay? Next. So, meron tayong tinatawag na dominance deviation. Dito natin kinukuha yung values in order to compute dominance variance. Yan. Na-explain ko na yan kanina, dominance interactions between alleles and hindi siya na ipapasa predictably from offspring kasi saka lang siya nangyayari sa heterozygote. Another epistatic variance or interaction represented by VI or epistatic variance. Bakit I ang ginamit natin? Kasi aside from the fact that nagamit na natin ang E dito sa equation na P equals G plus E, interaction kasi yung epistasis. Interaction between two genes at different loci. Like you see two different letters in the genotype of the individual. So two gene pairs at least yung kailangan mo para meron kang epistatic variance. Yan. And dahil hindi lang isang gene, hindi lang isang locus ang kinoconsider natin dito, that makes it complex, usually small, and mahirap siyang i-control. Yan. Let's have a human analogy, no? Let's gamitin natin yung trait na academic performance. Academic performance, o sabihin natin intelligence, no? Halimbawa, yung mga student, may student or population of students na matatalino. Matatalino based on their genes. Meaning to say, sinasabi ng genes ng student na yan ay nasa kanya yung favorable trait for intelligence. Yan ang tinatawag nating additive effects or breeding value. Additive. So pare-pareho lang yun, synonyms yun. Additive effects, additive genetic value, or breeding value. So that's the student's own ability or intelligence. Sinasabi ng genes niyon. Next, meron tayong dominance effects. Dominance effects or dominance division, dominance variance, etc. Yun naman ay represented by teamwork chemistry. O halimbawa, group work. No? May group work kayo, tapos you need to submit it, tapos mag-gradean. Kung halimbawa individual, yung work na yon, ma-express mo yung intelligence kasi ikaw lang naman ang gumawa. Kasi nasa genes mo yun breeding value, that is what your genes can offer. Pero dahil group work siya, maapektuhan ngayon yung performance, yung intelligence, yung supposed to be score nyo for that group activity or whatever requirement. Dahil merong interaction interaction among the members of the group. So maaring ang contribution lang niya ay for printing, meron namang ang ambag lang ay pansit canton. So ibig sabihin, may stress pa yung leader or yung other members of the group affecting the supposed to be high score or magandang academic performance ng leader or ng other members na sa kanilang genes sinasabi nasa kanila yung intelligence. But because of interaction among the members of the group, affected yung kanilang academic performance. Now, how about epistatic effects? Epistatic effects or epistatic deviation can be analogous to your subject-to-subject interaction. O, halimbawa, matatalino yung mga students. Pero hindi nila ma-express yung magandang academic performance dahil marami silang requirement sa other subject. So hindi lang yung halimbawa may requirement sila sa akin animal breeding o matatalino yung mga estudyante. Hindi nila ma-express yung magandang academic performance sa animal breeding dahil may requirement pa sila sa ANAFI, may requirement pa sa animal nutrition, may requirement pa sila sa biotech, may requirement pa sila sa sa thesis, etc. So subject to subject interaction. So that's how we can make an analogy in understanding the components or the components of phenotypic variance or genetic variance. Yan. So ito yung components. That's how they work. Ganun din siya sa animals. Okay, let's now move on to the discussion of heritability. So we already have an overview of what heritability is, but I would like to flash itong question. Let's have a quick knowledge check, true or false. Identify kung ang statement ay incorrect or correct or incorrect. So heritability is the chance or possibility that a trait is passed from parent to offspring. Once again, is it true or false? Heritability is the chance or possibility that a trait is passed from parent to offspring. The answer here is false. False siya kasi aside from hindi ito yung definition ng heritability, false siya kasi itong sinasabi na chance or possibility. Lahat ng traits ay naipapasa from parent to anak. No? So lahat ng traits ay naipapasa. Inherited. Pero heritability pertains to the portion of phenotypic differences na dahil sa genetics. Yun ang heritability. Anong portion ng nakikita nating differences among individuals or among animals in a population ay dahil sa genetics. Yun ang heritability. So, since alam na natin kung ano ang heritability, let's apply. Ano ibig sabihin? What does heritability of 0.4 mean? A, each offspring will inherit 40% of its genes from the parent. B, the trait is not inherited because the heritability is less than 1. C, there is a 40% chance that the trait will be passed from parent to offspring. Or letter D, 40% of the variation in the trait is due to genetic differences. So the final answer or the correct answer here is letter D. 40% of the variation or the differences in the trait, whatever trait that is, hindi kasi na-mention kung anong trait na yan, is due to genetic differences. So, letter A, sabi dito, each offspring will inherit 40% of its genes. No, that is not correct. The trait is not inherited. O, sabi ko kanina, all traits are inherited. No? Kahit 0.005 pa yan na value, inherited pa rin. So, mali. Letter C, there is a 40% chance. So, mali pa rin, no? The correct answer is 40% of the variation in the trait is due to genetic differences. So, heritability, once again, is not a probability. Heritability is not likelihood, it's not chance, but rather, it's a proportion. So, since proportion siya, it could be expressed in fraction, in percentage, or in decimal. Once again, for emphasis, it does not tell whether a trait will be inherited. Instead, it tells how much of the differences or of the variation we see in a population are due to their genes. So by formula, ito siya. So may nakikita na naman na kayong na tawag dito, symbol. So variance could be represented by capital V. So yung sinulat ko kanina na variance of G, that's variance of G. So dito, hindi na siya variance of G. Dahil na-mention na natin ang components ng G, tatlo yon, variance of A, variance of D, and variance of I. At dahil variance of A, ang only heritable portion, we use that in the numerator. Additive genetic variance divided by the phenotypic variance. Okay? Yan na yung formula. So heritability is represented by h squared. It should be lowercase h squared, ha? So it determines the degree of resemblance between the parents and the offspring. Kung mataas ang heritability, of course, strong yung resemblance between parents and offspring. Kasi most of the differences ay attributable sa genetics. And the opposite naman, if the heritability is low, weak ang resemblance, weak ang hatak or contribution ng genetics. So kung weak ang contribution ng genetics sa expression ng trait na yan or sa differences in the phenotype or performance ng mga hayop na yan, ano ang humahatak ngayon? It's the environment or management practices or the non-genetic factors. Another one, heritability expresses the reliability of the phenotypic value as a guide to the breeding value. In other words, kung mataas ang heritability ng trait, it tells us how good the phenotype is as an indicator of genotype. Okay. O example, matatalino kayong lahat, no? Sa klase. Let's assume you are a population. Matatalino kayong lahat sa klase, and the only time na maniniwala ako na yung talino ninyo sa klase ay dahil sa genetics is if mataas ang heritability na makukompute ko sa inyo. Pero kung halimbawa, matalino kayong lahat sa klase, tapos nag-compute ako using records from you, na-compute ko na mababa ang heritability na na-compute ko, ibig sabihin, yung talinin ninyo, differences in your talino, ay hindi dahil sa genetics, kundi its environment. And yung environment, yung na-mention kanina, nutrition, stress-free life, magandang time management, etc. Study habits, and so on and so forth. Now, speaking of heritability, may dalawang klase. We have the broad sense heritability and narrow sense heritability. What we usually use ay itong formula, narrow sense heritability. Bakit? Kasi mas reliable siya na value. Bakit siya mas reliable na value? Kasi sa numerator, ginagamit na natin ang heritable portion ng genetics, which is additive genetic variance. Dito kasi, ginagamit nating buo ang genetic variance. Kasi alam natin na yung dalawang other components of genetic variance, the dominance variance and the epistatic variance, they are not heritable. Okay? So ito yung mas importante sa atin. It's the narrow sense heritability because it measures how much of the trait can be passed on to offspring. Kaya ginagamit natin siya to predict genetic improvement. Next, how do we then estimate heritability? Okay, so mayroong 4 na methods to estimate heritability. We have parent-offspring regression. So, ibig sabihin, ang ginagamit natin na records ay yung records ng parent at saka record ng anak. Next, number 2, SIB analysis. Ang ginagamit natin na records ay yung records of siblings. Number 3, animal block model. Ang ginagamit natin na records ay lahat ng pedigree information. Pedigree meaning to say ancestors, records from ancestors. And then number 4 is realized heritability. Ang ginagamit na ngayon natin na records ay yung mismong records ng records ng genetic improvement. Ibig sabihin, we can already compare the records of the parent and record of the offspring, yung actual na performance ng offspring. In this lecture video, we will not be computing because this is purely lecture. We'll have another video to try how to compute. So using sample data sets. Okay, so this is purely lecture. So yung mga traits ngayon ay may kanya-kanyang heritability values. Yung heritability values na napapublish or pwede niyong ma-search sa internet ay hindi siya fixed. Hindi siya fixed kasi nagbabago, depende sa population, depende sa breed, depende sa environment, depende sa management practices. So kung halimbawa, you will try searching for the heritability value of litter size, may mga references na magsasabing 0.19, 0.2, 0.18, 0.15, so hindi siya constant. Pero, nabebelong sila sa specific range. And so we can classify traits into three according to their heritability values. So meron tayong tinatawag na lowly heritable, moderately heritable, at saka highly heritable. Now, yung mga highly heritable na traits, their range, so yung heritability value ranges from 0 to 1 ha, 0 to 1. Bakit? Kasi proportion siya. Or kung you want to express it in percentage, it's 0 to 100%. Yan. So yung highly heritable na traits, ang kanilang heritability value ranges from 0.41 to 1. Okay? 0.41 to 1. Kasi greater than 0.4. Ano examples ng mga trait na highly heritable? Body size, carcass quality, milk fat percent, fleece weight, yan. Yun yung mga product quality traits. So they are highly heritable. And ano yung sinabi ko kanina? Kapag highly heritable yung traits, most of the differences ay dahil sa genetics. And so, mas mabilis siyang mapasa. And so, the tool that we should use to improve them is selection. Okay? Next, yung mga moderately heritable traits naman, ang kanilang heritability values range from 0.2 to 0.4. Those are your growth rate, that's your average daily gain, feed conversion ratio, milk yield, milk production, egg weight, and so on and so forth. So, ano yung effective na tool? Selection, but with proper records. So, moderate lang siya, in between high and low lang. Yung lowly heritable traits naman, ang kanilang heritability range value ay 0 to 0.19. Yan. 0.0001 to 0.19. Basta less than 2.2 siya. So, ano yung mga traits na yon? So, since lowly heritable sila, they are poorly heritable. Poorly heritable, hence, mas malaki yung contribution ng environment. Ibig sabihin, mas madali silang i-improve by improving the management practices, by crossbreeding, by non-random mating. And those traits na yan ay fertility rate, survival rate, disease resistance, at saka mga reproduction traits such as litter size, litter index, ganyan. So applications of heritability, bakit ang dami nating beses minimension yung heritability? Because we use heritability to predict response to selection. Response to selection, ibig sabihin, improvement, genetic improvement. So, ginagamit natin siya sa formula para ma-predict natin yung amount of genetic improvement after we choose them as parents. Number 2, we use heritability values kung anong selection method ang gagamitin. Yan. Number 3, we use heritability para ma-evaluate yung management efficiency natin. Yan. So, highly heritable yung trait, focus ka sa breeding management. Focus ka sa selection. Kung nabababa ang heritability, improve mo yung management practices. And number 4, we use heritability to evaluate our animals and rank them. Okay? Kung mataas ang heritability ng value ay value ng population na yon, doon ka kukuha ng mga animals mo. And these are used to estimate EBVs. Ano ang EBVs? Estimated breeding value or yung value ng hayop as a parent. However, may limitation ang heritability. Ito yung sinabi ko kanina na hindi siya constant. Hindi siya constant kasi nagbabago siya depende sa population, depende sa management, depende sa breed, depende sa environment kung saan siya na-raise. So high heritability does not mean a trait is changeable. It changes. No? Management can still affect the performance. So kahit na sinasabi ng reference na maganda, mataas ang litter size or prolific ang mga landrace, yes, they are prolific by genes, no? Nasa genes nila ang pagka-prolific. Pero kung pangit naman ang management practices mo, hindi nila ma-express ang genetic potential na yon. So heritability does not apply to individuals. Bakit it does not apply? Kasi halimbawa ako, wala akong heritability na masasabing akin. Heritability can only be computed sa population. Kasi ang kailangan mo to compute heritability ay variance, no? 'Di ba? Variance of additive or variance of A divided by variance of P. So para ma-compute ang variance, kailangan mo ng maraming values. So hindi enough ang iisang performance record ng isang hayop to compute the heritability. It comes from the animals sa buong population. Next, ito pa, it does not measure inheritance probability. Tayo yung tanong kanina na true or false na heritability is the chance or possibility na maipapasa ang trait from parent to anak ay mali iyon. So hindi siya probability of inheritance but rather it's a proportion of variation due to genes or genetics. Next, meron pa tayong tinatawag na other parameters. We have genetic and phenotypic correlations. So from our first recording or first lecture video, pag sinabi nating correlation, it's the association or linear relationship between two traits. Okay? So we have phenotypic correlation. That's the relationship between observed phenotypes of two traits. So, ibig sabihin, we can compute easily yung phenotypic correlation using Excel, using calculator, kasi given naman na yung data. But from the phenotypic correlation, we can compute or derive the genetic correlation. And this is what we need to focus on, genetic correlation. Kung may relationship ba yung dalawang traits genetically. So we have to look at their breeding values, their genetic potential in order for us to compute for that. So halimbawa dito, same or linked genes affect both traits. So dahil, recall your linkage na concept, sa linkage, sa isang chromosome may dalawang magkatabi na genes. And since magkatabi sila, they always go together, ganun din sa may express na phenotype. Example is yan, growth at saka milk yield. Halimbawa, kapag mas mabigat yung hayop, there's a possibility na mas madami din siyang milk yield. Correct? So ibig sabihin, those traits go together. Ibig sabihin, if they go together, there's an association between them, there's a relationship between them. So, merong genetic correlation dahil magkalapit sila sa chromosome. Yun. Pero there are also traits na opposite yung kanilang direction or negative yung kanilang relationship. Halimbawa, litter size at saka birth weight. Kung nanonotice ninyo, sa halimbawa, may inahin tapos mas marami yung kanyang biik, halimbawa 16 ang kanyang litter size, you do not expect na heavier ang individual birth weight. Usually, kapag mas marami ang biik na naipanganak sa isang anakan, mas magaan kada biik. So tendency is they go opposite ways. Higher litter size, lower individual birth weight. So still, there is genetic correlation but negative or inverse. Ganon din dito, environmental correlation, still relationship between environmental effects on two traits. Like for example, same feed, housing, or management affect both traits. Kaya nung example ko na growth at saka milk yield or weight at saka milk yield. So it's just for appreciation. This is the mathematical relationship to compute for correlation, but we will not dig deeper into this because this is the lecture part. We'll have a separate video on that. So causes of genetic correlation, na-mention ko na slightly earlier yung cause kung bakit nagkakaroon ng association or relationship between two traits. Dahil magkalapit yung dalawang genes controlling two different traits sa chromosome. And another one is pleiotropy. Recall sa pleiotropy na one gene controls many traits. So, yung one gene na yon, hindi lang isa ang role niya. Usually, di ba, ang example natin is gene A codes for coat color, gene B codes for weight, gene C codes for egg production. One gene, one trait. Pero sa concept ng pleiotropy, yung gene A, maaaring 5 ang assignment niya. 5 ang kinokontrol niya na trait. And so, there is correlation between the 5 traits na kinokontrol ng iisang gene na yan. Okay. So types of correlation based on direction, this represents kung they both go the same way or they are not they don't go together. So we have positive correlation, meaning to say kapag nag-increase ang value ng trait 1, mag-i-increase din yung value ng trait 2. So, maganda yon kasi both directions. Yung negative correlation, yung example ko kanina na liter size at birth weight, na kapag mas madami yung biik, mas gagaan ang individual birth weight. Next, zero or no correlation. There's no consistent relationship. An example niyan is yung coat color ay walang kinalaman sa milk yield. Okay, yan yung different types of correlation. So we can also qualify correlation based on their range. So yung correlation range niyan ay 0 to 1. 0, no correlation or no relationship. 1 is perfect relationship. So doon sa unang recording ko, na-mention ko rin ito, ganun din yung range or yung description natin or interpretation natin sa bawat range. So I will no longer expound on this because I have touched this first part ng quantitative genetics. Okay, applications in animal breeding, ano ang purpose kung bakit pinag-aaralan natin ang correlation sa animal breeding or yung genetic correlation is for us to know predicted or for us to predict correlated response. Ibig sabihin, para alam natin kung halimbawa mag-increase man tayo or magdagdag man tayo, mag-expect man tayo ng additional piglet sa 1 liter size, we know na maaaring bababa or gagaan yung individual biik. Next, for designing multiple trait selection programs, para alam natin yung trade-off, okay? Ayun, na-mention para alam natin yung trade-off. So, yung second bullet at saka third bullet ay pareho lang yung tinutukoy. Trade-off, especially if the two traits are negatively correlated genetically. Ito naman, designing multiple selection programs so that we know what to expect kung halimbawa in your breeding program, marami kang traits na gustong i-improve, like for example, 5, and yung 2 trait pala na yon ay genetically correlated, kung positive yung relationship, ibig sabihin, jackpot ka kasi they increase together and they decrease together. Pero kung halimbawa negative ang relationship nila, dyan napapasok ang tinatawag nating trade-off. Limitations and consideration, correlations tulad ng heritability, population, and environment specific din siya. Ibig sabihin, it changes, hindi siya constant. Depende sa genetics, depende sa breed, depende sa management. So high correlation does not always mean cause and effect, but rather, sinasabi lang niya na may association. Meaning to say, related yung trait na yon dahil magkatabi sila or iisang trait ang nagko-control sa kanila. Genetic correlations can change over time, yes, kasi hindi siya constant. And for traits with unfavorable correlations, improvement must be balanced through multiple trait selection. And we have to understand their consequences or yung trade-offs. Next, meron tayong concept ng tinatawag na repeatability, represented by lowercase r. Ito namang concept ng repeatability ay ginagamit natin siya kapag ang trait ay nare-record natin over time. Ibig sabihin, hindi lang minsanan na binibigay ng hayop yung trait na yon but over time. Okay? So, example ng traits na pwede nating pagkomputan ng repeatability ay liter size. Bakit liter size? Kasi hindi lang naman minsan mga ang baboy, tama? So meron tayong tinatawag na parity 1, parity 2, parity 3, etc. So sa parity 1, may corresponding liter size. Parity 2, may another value or record siya ng liter size. Parity 3, so hanggang buhay yung hayop, hanggang ginagamit mo siya as breeder animal, may value ka ng liter size. Yun ang application ng concept na repeatability. So by definition, repeatability is the degree of consistency of an individual's performance over repeated records. So it's computed by this formula, pero when we explain this in simple terms, kung meron tayong high heritability, meron din tayong tinatawag na kung mataas ang repeatability value ng trait, ibig sabihin, consistent yung expression ng trait na yan sa population or sa hayop na yan. Ibig sabihin, magaling siyang mag-maintain or uniform yung records niya over time. Pero, kung mababa ang record, ay mababa ang repeatability, hindi consistent. ang records. So it represents or it reflects yung consistency ng isang hayop na yan over time. So it measures how consistent an animal's performance is over time. So halimbawa, meron tayong sow, sow 1 at saka sow 2, no? So sow 1, so parity 1 niya, 10 ang litter size. Parity 2, naging 12. Parity 3, 11. Parity 4, naging 16. And then parity 5, naging 10. Parity 6, naging 8. And then sow 2, halimbawa, si sow 2, ang kanyang litter size ay naging 10 sa una, then 10 ulit, and then 11, and then 12, and then parity 5, naging 10, parity 6, naging 9, parity 7, 10 ulit. Based dito sa performance nila in terms of litter size, we can see na mas consistent si sow number 2. No? Mas consistent. Ibig sabihin, walang masyadong variation sa kanyang record. So, we can say therefore that sow 2 has higher repeatability. No? So, sow 1 naman, mas mababa ang repeatability niya kasi hindi siya consistent sa pag-produce ng record. Next, range of repeatability values, parang din heritability, parang din siya na correlation. So 0 to 0.19, very low ang repeatability. Ibig sabihin, hindi consistent. Kung hindi consistent kasi, yung record niya nung una ay hindi magandang predictor ng future records. Kung hindi consistent or mababa ang repeatability, ang dahilan ay environment or management practices. 0.2 to 0.39, low repeatability. 0.4 to 0.69, moderate heritability. And very high repeatability yung 0.9 at saka 1. Although rare cases ito. Rare cases kasi nga, ang repeatability ay affected greatly by the environment. Okay, let's have a quick knowledge check, true or false. Based sa learning ninyo sa na-discuss natin, pwede niyo yung screenshot ito and then you answer. And then you go back to what we have discussed sa previous recording and sa recording na ito for you to determine or to assess your understanding. Sorry. And then 6 to 10, try answering also. And then 12, 11 to 15. True or false? And then this one, we will have another recording or another lecture video to illustrate or to practice solving these problems para i-apply natin yung principles ng quantitative genetics at saka yung mga parameters na na-discuss natin earlier. So thank you very much everyone and I hope you learned something.